What's going on? What's going on? Chemo Home Friends back at it again, talking this Big Meech story snitching allegation on Cuffy. Guys, man. I'm not proud to say this. I was like a real Big Meech fan, but it's looking like, yeah, man, it's looking like he snitched, man. And we all know Big Meech had got a 30-year sentence. Actually, he was supposed to get life in prison for running a drug kingpin, drugs, murders. Like, he had people working for him in every single state in the United States moving weight. So it was no actual reason for the government to give him a plea deal to even get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of snitching allegations coming out about Tammy Cowins. Y'all know she works with 50 Cent, co-executive producer for the Stars series that's on, I think it's on Stars. Yeah. And she's a government informant as well. So, like, 50 Cent already knew this. You know what I'm saying? They actually set up Cuffy in prison because when he was working on the original movie, he put a lot of money behind the original movie. They cut him out and they actually set him up so he can get arrested so they can take over the series of the BMF series. So, but all of that, I'm going to, post all of that in this video as I go. But a lot of people are coming out. Whack 100, Blue Da Vinci. A lot of people are saying they snitched to get their time reduced, So it's kind of crazy what's going on. I'm just going to bring you the story, bring you the allegations, and you guys can go from there and judge it on yourselves.
So yeah, I got Cuffy right here, man, St. Louis legend.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
A lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up or this thing is fake or that I have an axe to grind, you feel me?
Right. But
I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowans, known in the paperwork as CS1, Confidential Source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Cowans signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut, plain and simple.
How'd you come upon this information?
We were rewarded what's called a Franks hearing. It's based on a case called U.S. versus Frank. So I would implore your listeners to look the case up. And what a Franks hearing entails is that you're able to cross-examine your accusers, meaning government agents, meaning informants, and so on and so forth, just like a regular trial.
Before we get back to the audio, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. If this is your first time here, make sure to leave a comment. This is crazy. Cuffy is saying that Big Meech actually snitched, and he's the reason why he got 30 years in prison. Blue Da Vinci is talking to Cuffy. He's explaining his side. Whack 100 is going to give you his side of things as well, or what he knows. Let's get back to the audio. This is crazy.
So this was testified in court. That I became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. Well, what they don't understand is that he never received the time cut because what came out was that she had an illicit sexual relationship with Special Agent Keith Cromer. But her first DA handler was the guy, as you should know, Blue, who wrote the BMF indictment, Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Special Agent Jack Harvey is the person that locked us all up, who's also the person that locked up Terry White, which was her first case as a DEA agent.
Yeah, he retired, and then her handler became a brother by the name of Keith Cromer, Special Agent Keith Cromer, who was also fired behind this particular case. So Meech never received the time cut because, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it's against the law to have a sexual relationship or any personal relationship with a government informant.
And through that relationship, it tainted the case, and it was dishonorable at that point. They had to throw that out. That's why Meech didn't get out.
From that conspiracy, they indicted me on 2 murder charges. Subsequently, I pled guilty to 2 gun charges in exchange for them dropping the murder charges.
How did they get you on something that was totally different from the case that Meech and them had you in a wiretap for?
Out of a totally different nothing to do with the drug conspiracy, but they falsely accused it as being a part of the drug conspiracy. And then they brought about the gun charges, as using the gun charges in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
This call is from a federal prison.
So they came out of that case that y'all was in court for and hit you with a whole brand new case that had nothing to do with that at all.
Didn't have nothing to do. Yeah, it still had something to do with that. They still let the drug conspiracy stand between Tammy Cowins and myself.
Oh.
And she started. That's the only way that they can continue to have jurisdiction. They had to leave the drug. They had to leave the drug charges there.
Thought that they said, all right, well, this case is over, but we
pick up murder charges or gun charges unless it's tied to something. If it's not tied to anything, then the government don't have jurisdiction. So a carjacking has to be tied to something to have a gun charge of using a 924C, as I have, or 924J. You
right.
feel me? Discharging a firearm and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime that results in death.
How did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy, and how did all that come together where they were able to?
Okay, so, well, let me take them back. So me and Tammy were working on the BMF movie. I originally had the script and paid for the script for the BMF movie, not the show that 50's doing on Stars. But I originally paid for the script for the BMF movie, so we were shopping the movie. Tammy Cowans, CS1, had all Meech's life rights. This all the way back in 2010. We proved that there was a legitimate business. So let's take it back. The original target was the guy by the name of Fidel Suarez. That was a Mexican cartel member out of California. He was the initial target.
Fidel Suarez was the initial target out of Cali.
His name is in the paperwork.
Right, that's that.
Tammy was trying to get Suarez, but when the government found out she was in contact with me, they switched the investigation toward me.
He just, all right, look, did she help set you up or anything like that?
Yeah, she set me up. Meech put her with Special Agent Jack Harvey.
They asked me about Meech. So see, here's the thing about Meech, right? His early release paperwork is clean. I got that, right? You got a time reduction based on one of the drug laws. But where they making him dirty at when that third party cooperation with the Tammy that's doing 30 years kicks in. Now Cuffy had the rights first. He had the rights to Big Meech story first from Meech. Meech's bag didn't go through the ceiling until he started with Cuffy. In that, Tammy, which is Meech's little thing, get at him and set up a situation. Cuffy ain't knowing, he figures all up. He go down there, woo wop, 100 feds come out everywhere. When it's time for him to go to court, she on the stand. Back in like 16, 17, 18, you was hearing Big Meech gonna get out early. That was being driven by the third party cooperation in the lineup of Cuffy. Tammy gets up there on the stand and says it. Blue and them got that work too and says it, that she was working for the government to get time reduction for Meech. This is the same woman that has, when Cuffy went, the rights of it got transferred from Cuffy to her. So that's where they calling him in that act. And then they own him that he was up there in Sheridan. So I guess whatever his charges was, stated he should have never been in a minimum security prison. So one of these feds that have been in there, they know about all that. Well, you know, at the end of the day, Cuffy a real dude doing a real 30 in that motherfucker. Cuffy's a real dude. Yeah, so you know, right now that he didn't got out, a lot of these niggas gonna get to switching up and going the other way. I'm gonna tell you that right now. A lot of these niggas gonna start doing that. His release right now is based on I believe that might have been Trump or somebody. He I got that paperwork.
I looked that up.
Yeah, his release right now, they reduced. It was reducing drug. They reduced him down from another level, or whatever. I got that actual work. His release right now ain't based on him cooperating.
Up a known kingpin from St. Louis named Cuffy. Well, that's the word on the street, so let's get into that. First off, for all y'all who don't know who Cuffy is, he is a known kingpin from St. Louis who did business with Big Meech for over 20 years since 1990. And according to him, he is the first person to ever put $1 million in cash in Big Meech's pockets. And as of today, he claims he was set up by Big Meech, which eventually led to him receiving a 27-year prison sentence. And he claims it all started when Big Meech was in Detroit's county jail when he got indicted in 2005. And while Big Meech was in Detroit's county jail fighting his case, he met a Spanish connect named Fidel Suarez, who had major connections to Mexican cartels out of Los Angeles, California. And Cuffy also claims Fidel was the first target who Big Meech was trying to line up so he can receive a reduced sentence.
I'm Tamar Gatling. I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can shed light on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like, this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have complete truth. But in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cowins. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie deal. So at the complete truth. But finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cowans. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it had to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb. I'm not about to call an informant. Finally arrested.
Nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was call a third-party cooperation. What happened was...
This call is from a federal prison.
Originally, I was put with Tammy. I paid for the script. Nasty system. Sosa and myself, we all before all of that. You feel me?
Right.
Sosa is a day one nigga. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And see, Meech, I'm the first nigga put $1 million in his pocket. He never seen that till he came to the loot. You feel me?
I heard
He
about
never
you,
seen
dog.
that.
I heard you was just an
Oh,
outstanding
yeah,
dude, man. Take care of your business, and your reputation in a good way preceded itself. So I understand now, based on from what we've dealt with and seen with this whole thing with Tammy, man. Speak on that for me if you can, because it's perplexing.
Well, what they did, what Meech and Tammy did is called it because you're not in the system. Thank God you're not. I hate to see brothers in this system. But brothers who are familiar with this system, this is a nasty, nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was called a third-party cooperation. By 50 when he came in, because we put a assistant deceased order in through my attorney. That's why they couldn't do a motion picture. That's why you didn't see the BMF story on the big screen. So 50 ran it through that star shit that he run that other corny shit that he do. So what happened was, homie, was I wasn't even the original target. They wanted to get a little Mexican. He's actually a cartel member out of L.A. named Suarez. You'll see his name in the paperwork, Fidel Suarez. He was their initial target. You feel me?
Right.
He was their initial target. But with me calling in while they were trying to set up Fidel Suarez, she clicked over and told the Fed or the agents who was listening to her and Suarez, hold on, this is Cuff. And when they heard the name Cuff, they went fucking crazy. And that's when her and Meech turned the scheme toward me. You feel me? So what it did was, that's why 50, when he came, this is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech a time cut for her cooperation and set me up. But also, it kills two birds with one stone. It puts me in jail, and now they don't have to split any of the revenue with me. My buddy and my partner along with me his name is Louis Burrell. That's MC Hammer's big brother.
That's who Tammy was coming out here to see.
That was me.
And I'm gonna tell you the year. That was 2015. No, that was like 14.
Way earlier than that. It started way earlier than that. Way earlier than that. Around 2010, homie. Way earlier than that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we gotta go way back.
We put $50 million on the table through Lionsgate Films, through Louis Burrell's Connect. Because Louis is the nigga, he a bait nigga out there, but he fucks around. He really fucks around in the music tip, but he also fucks around in the movie industry up there. Now, what we did not know is this is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech a time cut for her cooperation and set me up, but also it kills two birds with one stone. Tammy would turn down that deal with me and Louis Burrell getting 20% of that budget. You understand what I'm saying? For a finder's fee. So what ended up happening was we didn't know that they had other plans and that she was sleeping with the feds and that that they would put me off in prison and run away with my script and don't have to give me anything. So it was supposed to give me a time cut and knock me out of my percentage, me and Louis Burrell out of our percentage for the finder's fee with Lionsgate's film. Well, Lionsgate, when Louis went, so they backdoored us. Lionsgate shot it down when Louis Burrell wasn't no longer a part of it. You feel me?
Right.
So Tammy's whole thing fell apart. Meech couldn't get a time cut because they found out Tammy has no credibility. Because when you can't have a relationship with a federal agent, now you have no credibility. So they thing blew up. They thing fell all the way apart and blew up. That's why Meech didn't get a time. That's why But Tammy testified in open court that she signed up to be a DA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
This call is from a federal prison.
Special Agent Keith Cromer testified that Demetrius Flannery knew about this whole thing, but he just wanted to keep his name out of the documents. The special agent told Flannery that he could not do that. He could only do that if Cuff don't go to trial. And with Cuff's record, he can't afford to go to trial. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But in the midst of all of this, she ends up flipping on the special agent Keith Cromer, and their whole deal went in the trash. So that's why we're at the point to where we're at now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long does your relationship go back with Meech, Cuff? How long have you known him? What you guys go back?
1990, homie. 1990. 1990. But Tammy testified in open court that my beautiful daughter that you talk with, my son, and my other daughter, they look at this nigga, call this nigga uncle, homie.
Now, from my understanding, you guys reached out to him when the paperwork came down. She said that you knew who the CI was, and you told her and her mom, and you guys sent a message to Meech. What was his response when this stuff came down and you were like, yo, bruh, what's going on? What did you get from Meech?
When I got locked up, homie, and when I seen where this whole conspiracy was coming from, I laughed at it and I didn't believe in it. And I knew that Meech could come forward and kill the whole conspiracy. Just saying that the conspiracy is based on Meech communicating from Tammy, sending me a truckload of drugs. It's all made up. From jail, homie. He could have killed this whole deal. They never had my beautiful drugs. You understand what I'm saying? But that's how conspiracy works in this system, in this nasty system. But when Meech shot down the offer, when we sent my attorneys out, he was at FCI Lompoc in California. And he responded back to my attorneys that he didn't want to have nothing to do with nothing, and he stopped communicating with them. So then that told my attorneys right there that Demetrius Flannery is a part of this whole deal. And I couldn't believe it. You feel me? So that's what his response was, that he don't know nothing about all this. Well, Demetrius Flannery has been locked up since 2005, and how are you my unindicted, he's listed in my paperwork, homie, as my unindicted co-conspirator serving 30 years at FCI Lompoc in California. How are you in my paperwork, man? And how are you this famous drug dealer who's in magazines and books, any drugs? You understand what I'm saying? But that's how conspiracy works in movies. And you are in bed with a government informant that testified in court that she cooperated and set your nigga up, a 30-year partner, to give you a time cut. How are you this celebrity drug lord, but you in bed with a government informant? And how you not know about this? And you in my documents is my co-defendant, my unindicted co-defendant.
He was trying to get on the phone with me while I'm getting into it with Lil Meech. Lil Meech came into one of the stores that I was working with, one of the exotic rental stores, to rent a car one time, and was talking shit. Nigga start talking crazy shit about me, nigga. And my son was in there working at the time, talking to have my son whoop his ass, trying to let the kids lock up. You know what I'm saying? I was mad as a motherfucker. But you know, all this shit just ended up stemming from a whole nother situation that was surrounding Meech that was going on and shit.
So
you want to pull up some paperwork? You want me to show you how to pull up some paperwork?
So you're talking about Tammy Cowins, right?
Yeah, Tammy Cowins.
Okay, now
she's a co-producer of the BMF Stars TV show.
Okay, and you're saying that she's an informant?
Definitely, 100%.
Okay.
She's been an informant since 2009.
Okay, so I'm on the page right now.
Yeah, it's 32 pages or something.
I'm on the first page, and now it says, United States of America versus plaintiff, and it says, Donnie Gatling,
Dion
Timothy.
Dion Gatling. Shout out Cuff. Shout out Cuff. That's my nigga Cuff. Dion Gatling. Yeah, he's one of the first defendants. Yeah.
Okay.
St. Louis Project niggas. What's happening?
So, can you kind of break down this paperwork for me and how she's involved in this? And where can I go to look at
Tammy Cowans is Big Meech personal assistant / business partner / whatever you want to call. You know what I'm saying? Basically she became the owner of what Meech has as BMF Entertainment, his company from prison. His company, she became the owner of it in 2008. And in 2009, she became a government. In 2010, she did a case that was pertaining to a guy that Meech met in prison and one of Meech's homeboys of 26 years.
Okay. Now, in this paperwork, it doesn't actually say her name. Right.
Yeah. You will have to, it don't say her name. It say her name on paper on the cover sheet, her actual name. But this is a case, so they're not gonna be saying the witnesses' names in the case. They're gonna call them CS1 or CSOI or something like that, confidential source or whatever. It's confidential, bro. It's not public. That, you know what I'm saying? The snitch on the case is not public. You feel me? Until maybe after the case and the people was put away in prison and they out of government hiding and all that shit, and then you get some paperwork and then you might see it. Outside of that, you got to be tapped in. You got to have that pacer. Got to be able to pull cover sheets and shit like that. But when people read David, it explains to you exactly who she is. And then when people follow or know, or once you get to understand this situation, then you'll get to see exactly who Tammy Cowans is.
Okay, I'm gonna read a little part of it real quick, man. It says CS1's relationship with Flannery, Suarez, and Gatling. When CSI became a DA informant, CSI was and had been a longtime associate of Demetrius Flannery. Now, here's where it says CSI-1 held Flannery's power of attorney and life rights with creative control. So...
yeah, that means she's the person that got his life rights. So she's the person that 50 Cent got the movie from, the TV show from. That's the only way to get it. You can't get it from Meech because he in prison, so he can't DBA. He can't do business from prison. He's in jail. So he has to sign his rights to do his life story or do whatever he gonna do in his name over to somebody else. And Tammy Cowans is the person